Well, all right, guys, it's Friday in the bike shop. The weather's absolutely beautiful outside in Biloxi, Mississippi, and the place has got a lot of action. I'm short-staffed, as you guys know. I'm trying to keep my labor down. So when Alana's at lunch, it's me in the shop by myself. And let me just show you a little something that we deal with. Like I said, most people that come into the bike shop are amazing. They're cool. They're excited. And even this customer is one of those people, but she's just having a hard time today. It's spring and she wants to go ride her bike. She hasn't ridden it for a while, so she called up the shop earlier, wondering if there, if there's a problem with her bike, and to see if we could diagnose it over the phone. Sometimes we can, sometimes we can't, but the bike's riding funny. So that's kind of a hard way to start, because the handlebars, the wheels, the cranks, she doesn't know, just wants to ride her bike. I said, well, just bring it on by. So she actually rode her bike here. I was proud of her for that. There's no air in the tires. It's no air in this tire and no air, very little air in that tire. That'll make a bike ride funny. I wish we could have diagnosed this over the phone, although I think she says she doesn't quite know how to put air in these stems. So when her boyfriend actually bought her this bike, so when she comes back, I'll just do some education with her, see if we can teach her how to use these press to valve stems, and explain that on a bicycle that's been hanging up all winter, it's common for the tires to need a little bit of air. As a cyclist, I put air in my tires, at least once a week or so. I'm a little bit fanatic about it, but I can understand on the customer's point of view that's not a cyclist why why she'd be a bit frustrated. Let me show you. So I see both points of it, but this is a lot of the time stuff that we deal with, because that customer did come in. I wasn't in the shop, but there's several people in here shopping, and when someone's got a complaint, it kind of echoes through the whole little bike shop. So anyway, please be patient with your bicycle mechanics. So look at the weather in Biloxi, Mississippi right now. It is in the 70s out here right now. The temperature is perfect, the wind is low, and I'm glad that people are excited. Look, the flowers are blooming. These are azaleas right here. When the azaleas are blooming, it's springtime. Well, it is. Today's the first day of spring. But it also means that the sheephead are biting. So one of the other things I like to do is go fishing. I can't wait to get out there and do a little fishing. These azaleas are getting ready to bloom right here. Look at the I guess purple and yellow ones getting ready over by the mechanic shops. So, well, I've got a couple minutes of free time. I'm going to try to finish this bike. I guess I'm making this quick little video just to let you know, it is tough to diagnose a lot of problems over the phone. We take a lot of phone calls about tubes and tires. Alana took a call today, once again, while she had a lot of people in the shop, and this guy's needs a 28-inch tube. There is such a thing, but it's not a common to say 28 and then not have any of the other numbers. So just realize that, bicycles aren't as easy as they used to be, and the customer on the phone was frustrated that we couldn't tell him if we had a 28-inch tube that would fit his bike. He didn't know what valve it was. He didn't know the diameter. And 28 is really not a measurement that a lot of bikes have. It could be a 700C, it could be a 26-inch, a 27.5, a 29. There's several different tire sizes, but when you just say 28 over the phone, it's hard. And of course, that customer was kind of getting frustrated with us. I had a customer earlier that just needed a link for a chain, a bicycle chain. And when I had to explain to him that there's several different widths of chains and sizes of chains, he once again, he kind of got frustrated. But we'd rather just fix the bike. I will sell parts. I have a whole parts room over there full of parts, but they're basically for the mechanics. If you know what you need, we'll sell it. But I'm having to tell people that we're not a big department store, that you can't just buy 5 parts and then return 4. And the packages are all ripped up and stuff. So I'm selling parts right now as a as a no return policy. Of course, if you buy a shifter or something and there's a problem with the like the manufacturer's defect, well, of course I'm going to take care of that. But just because it's not the right size, I'm not taking it back. And then a lot of people want to ask us, well, what size does it need? Well, that's where our expertise comes in. You know, if I can answer that question quickly, if it's a 7-speed derailleur and you need a 7-speed derailleur, I'll tell you that. But a lot of people don't know what they need. They just want to buy the part, and half the time they buy the part, it comes back, they want to return it, or didn't fit, or they don't know how to put it on. You know, we want to be helpful, but in a way, that's why we have all these tools. So we have these certifications, and it is hard to just answer a lot of these questions over the phone. I know you can't just call up the Ford dealership and, you know, ask a question about a drivetrain part and have them, you know, tell you exactly what part you need and how to install it. And then when you can't install it right, they don't pull their technicians off of their workbenches to, you know, help you with it. So just know bicycles are more complicated than they used to be, but there are some easy fixes, like putting air in the tire and giving a little customer education on how to use the these valve stems. So I'm going to work with this customer, and I'll be glad to do it. I think she's a very, very polite person. She was just in a tizzy because her bike was riding funny and really just needs some air in the tire. So moral of the story, it is springtime. There's a lot of bicycle mechanics that have moved on from the bicycle industry, especially right now to do other things. So be patient with the bicycle mechanics that are still around. We want this profession to, you know, be a long-term thing. We want bicycle mechanics in the future. So be kind to your bicycle mechanics. And no bicycles have gotten complicated. Even this clutch derailleur people don't realize this clutch derailleur, when you take off this rear wheel to disengage the clutch, so this can move freely, because you can damage it if you don't. It's made with this one-buy system on this bike. Boy, this was a serious. I used to love these. I had one of these. This was a great bike. It had a little future shock in it, but we had the future shock fail in a lot of them, and we couldn't get the parts at one time. I'm pretty sure that the parts and the boots are all back in stock now. But there's a time when manufacturing couldn't keep up with the demand, and now of course, you know, March of 2025, it has changed. So just know, please be kind to your bicycle mechanics. It's springtime, and you know, you probably should have got your bikes taken care of in the wintertime when we were slow. We're still going to take as much work as we can, but we got to be manageable with it. And check your tires before you ride. If you haven't ridden your bike all year long, check your tires. They might just need a little bit of air. So anyway, guys, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube and the back of Biloxi Bicycle Works. Trying to get a little bit of work done while Alana's at lunch and before the phone rings or the next customer comes in the door. Well, I can't believe I had a few minutes to actually get that video done. This is probably going to be one of my shortest videos. And don't forget, we are doing a mountain bike ride Sunday at Bethel Mountain Bike Trail System. So if anybody's in the area and wants to ride mountain bikes, we're going to have two rides. We're going to have a 10 a.m. ride that's going to be fast-ish. And then we're going to have a noon ride that's going to be a big group ride. It's going to slow things down a little bit. We're going to have a potluck. And then after that, we might do party pace if we get some beginners or something that want to do a party pace ride. But I want to go ride this bike without babysitting. So that's why we've kind of made 3 different rides. So if you're fast, don't show up for the noon ride expecting to go fast. Come and whip it out at 10 o'clock. And even then, I'm going to back it. It's the first ride on a new bike, so I want to get things dialed in before I try to go warp speed. I'm not ready for warp yet anyway. It's going to be nice having a bike that's faster than I am. All right, guys, Bart from Bicycle Rider YouTube. Be kind to your bicycle mechanics. March of 2025. We want to keep these guys in the industry. And just realize bikes have gotten complicated over the years. So don't tell your bicycle mechanics it's an easy fix when you could just buy the part and do it yourself. If you're going to do it that way, just do it. You don't have to vocalize it. You know, I don't go to my lawyer and say, hey, look, I read this document. Haha. I might have had to Google 15 words of it, but I did it. You know, I just tell him I read over the document. I don't throw it in his face. So be careful when you say it should just be easy. Can you fix this brake? It should be easy. If it's easy, just do it, you know? we definitely didn't get in the bicycle industry to be mean to people, tell people no. But things have gotten complicated, and we want to raise the level and the pay of bicycle mechanics for a reason. So if you think that you can get that hydraulic brake to stop making noise and roll freely, more power to you. Just do it. Don't throw it in the bicycle mechanic's face. So anyway, let's get bicycle mechanics out riding bikes. That usually cures everything. Sometimes your bicycle mechanic got into bicycling because he wanted to ride bikes, and now he doesn't ride bikes too much anymore. So if you see your bicycle mechanic out on the trail, talk about something else other than bicycle repair. Bart from Bike Ride YouTube. Over and out for now.